So I think we should start. Good morning to everybody. Welcome to this workshop about cascading grant projects and the evolution of those projects in the future, organized by Idealist and my colleague here, Edina, who is also going to be in the speakers today with me. So I would like to welcome Ana Luisa Alves from F6S and Project Nebulous. Hi, Anna. Edina Nemeth from Cistera, if I pronounce it well. Aneta Galaska will be online with us. She's from Funding Box and the Target X project. It's a 5G cascading grant project. Am I right? It's going to be okay. Hello. And Michiel Liners from LNNet project, NGI Open Calls. Hello. Do we have Michiel with us?
Yes.
You're here. Sorry. Yeah, maybe you should see. It's better, yeah. So, it's early, don't worry, and don't mind me as well. I would like to start with asking you to introduce yourself and a little bit, few words about the project that you're running, and then we'll get into maybe deeper questions. So I'll start with Ana Luisa.
Hello. Can you hear me? Yeah. So my name is Ana Luisa. I'm here representing F6S, particularly a project that I'm implementing that is Nebulous. I will later present my project, and I can tell you that I'm very happy to be here with you and looking forward to discuss these cascade funding opportunities. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Edina Nemeth. I am representing currently the project Cistera, which is not an FSTP, but also issues open calls. So to have some different methods, I'm here to present that project. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michiel Liners. I work for an organization called NLNet Foundation, which has a kind of a really nice history because it introduced the internet in Europe back in the 80s. It was literally the first open internet connection. We became a charity in the 90s, and we give away money. And one of the piles of money that we've been working with is the Next Generation Internet Program. And that's what I'm here to talk about.
Thank you. I was wondering why it was a foundation in the NLNet Foundation. So we'll discuss more about it. It's interesting. Can we have Aneta? Hello, we can see you.
And I represent Target X project, which is about 5G and 6G digital transformation, and I'm happy to present it later.
Thank you, and maybe I'll introduce myself, which I skipped. I'm George Megas from Project Idealist, a national contact point for Horizon Europe since 2016, Horizon 2020, then ICT, and now Cluster 4, member of the Enterprise Europe Network, and E80 Health Hub coordinator for Greece. We do a lot of things together here in Greece. So, Edina, shall we start by presenting the project's open calls and similar to that? We don't have any presentations, I guess. We do. Okay. So, okay. So we're starting with Nebulous, and I think maybe I should have been sitting that way. Okay.
So shall we just clear the floor and get back so that you...
No, it's okay. I don't mind to share. I don't know exactly how this works. Maybe I need some technical assistance here.
We have a pointer.
There's a clicker.
Mm-hmm.
No,
So okay, it's on the screen. It's fine. Yeah.
Super. Okay, let me just see how does this work. Super. Okay, so I'm Ana Luisa Alves, here representing Nebulous on behalf of F6S. I am the FCTP manager of this project, working as project manager at F6S. So Nebulous, this project, it's a meta operating system for brokerage hyper-distributed applications on cloud computing continuous. This is a very long name that stands, a very long name. So what is the vision of our project? I'm sorry that I'm reading, but it's always better when I have a technical person together with me, because I'm mostly focused on the cascade funding of this project rather than on the technical side. So apologies for this. I will be reading and giving some additional input when I find needed. So the vision that this project brings is to develop the Meta OS system, a platform that proposes to seamlessly exploit edge and FOD nodes in conjunction with multi-cloud resources to cope with requirements posed by low latency applications. Very fancy words to me. For most of you, I'm sure you are quite familiar with these terms. So what are the key features that Nebulous proposed, our framework proposes, is to develop tools for modeling application topologies, requirements and data streams with multi-criteria resource brokerage, the smart contract-baked non-repudiable service level agreement monitoring, reactive and proactive reconfiguration of applications, and a unified security for cloud computing continuous. So the goals of the projects are three. The major one will be to advance tools for provisioning, so developing secure and optimal methods and tools for application provisioning and reconfiguration across the cloud computing continue. On the second layer, we will develop this Meta OS platform. And we are finding solutions, directions, mostly focused on the development of modeling methods, the optimization criteria, monitoring and adapt the workloads, comparing hosting options using multi-criteria decision-making, manage intelligent applications workflows, address security and smart contract base, and the SLAs in computing continuing. So what are the innovations that this project is bringing? We have heard several projects talking about edge, cloud, and IoT continue computing. This project is easing the deployment and automated optimization, the cloud continuum affordability, a cloud continuum accessibility. And what I can tell you more is that this project is an open source project. So we are contractually obliged to follow an open source model, and all the technologies developed by the project are and will be more available in an open source platform. So this part that I'm more familiar with, in this project Nebulous we have a twofold approach. We are exploring the project demonstrators. So the project has a some use cases that where we are testing the technology that we are developing, and on the second layer we have the funding support to third parties. That's where you are interested in the cascade funding. So the pilot demonstrators that we have in this project, there are 5. One of them is split into 2. We will be talking here about mainly about the focus areas of these 5 pilots. We have the energy use case, a smart city, a third one on agriculture, then it comes the transport and logistics. This one is the one that is broken into 2 different use case applications, and finally we have the crisis management falling in the environment domain. So I don't want to go longer in the different use cases, but we found there are some specific challenges in the different domains that the project is tackling, and our aim is to propose solutions with the technology that we are developing to improve and solve the issues that the sectors are facing. So we have this windmill maintenance, the computer vision for city maintenance, the precision agriculture, here the fresh food supply, and the crisis management. To present you here the Nebulous Cascade funding scheme, we plan to fund 9 SMEs or 9 projects. And these 9 projects will work and test the platform and find the benefits of using it in new use cases. So 2 open calls that will be launched now from the first one from this month. So in February next week, on the 14th, we are launching the first open call of this project. We have to offer 1.35 million euros to test and validate the Nebula's MetaOS platform and its components. So I will focus here on the open call 1. As I said, we are launching the call on next Wednesday on the 14th of February. The call objective is to validate the basic aspects of the platform. We have, at this point of the project, we already developed a certain amount of components that we would like the beneficiaries to test and to test in a different domain than those already covered by the project. So we have for this very first open call, we have 600,000 euros to fund 4 projects up to 150k equity-free funding, and the eligible applicants are it's the industry with SME startups and also the research center, research organizations in teams of 2 organizations where we will have a leading partner as being an SME. It's a 7 months implementation program, and all the applications will be handled via the F6S platform. The F6S platform offers different opportunities, and one of them will be this one, Nebula's first open call. Okay, so the timeline for our open call, as I was saying, we will launch the call on the 14th of February. It will be open for 2 months, so we foresee to close it by mid-April. And from there on, we will start the evaluation process. That it includes the eligibility check of the proposals that we receive and an external evaluation that lasts for approximately 1 month. After that, we select the 4 awarded projects and we announce them, we contract those projects, and finally we start the implementation phase with mentoring. So we will appoint mentors from the project team to work directly with our awarded projects, and the project starts. This will last for 7 months. We expect it to be finalized in January 2024. At the same time that this open call will be running, we as I said in the beginning, we will have a second open call that we expect to launch in midway of this project, of these first projects. So stay tuned, follow us. This is the consortium, so there are 16 different organizations, and I strongly invite you to follow us on the social media. Thank you very much.
Just a second, maybe if I can ask some questions, if possible. Sorry, Edina. I saw there are 2 Greek partners as well. Also Augmenta, who is a company that does precision agriculture, and the company had one of the biggest exits in Greece the last year. So just what I noticed right there. I wanted to ask about the open call. Will the 150k be given to the pilot projects to just do the proof of concept with you, or will have also some smart money that will be reimbursed, will be the reimbursement of the mentoring you'll be providing? So how do you know the mixture of how it will work? Maybe, or is 150k, do it whatever you like and give us the project plan.
So initially our team, and particularly the mentor that is assigned for each of the projects, or 4 mentors will be assigned for each of the projects, as they are 4. The mentors will start working with those project teams, understanding where do they want to go. So how do they want to implement and how do they want to test the components. How, where, and so for 1 month they will be defining the strategy for this implementation, defining the KPIs, defining how we will monitor also their work, and how can the project assist them with the technology that we have. Did I answer your question?
Yes, okay. It's logical to utilize your technology.
Aumenta is and let me say, Aumenta is a very special partner. I don't know if you are also familiar with, but Aumenta was recently acquired by another company. So they increased much more their expertise and their presence, right?
Yeah, I said that it's one of the biggest exits that we had in Greece.
Yes.
So yeah, it's important that we have such an example as well from our regions. And thank you. I mean, we will be as NCPs promoting the topic in our leads.
Super, thank you.
Thank you. So now, Edina, you'll tell us about Chistera and how it evolves around during the years.
Okay, so I'm here to present Chistera, which is not a financial support for third parties type project. It is rather a project where multiple organizations, enabled by European Commission funding, issue a joint call together. Now, this network has been around for quite a while. It started in 2010. Okay, it started in 2010, and sorry, it's reacting a bit slower than I. Okay, yeah. Thank you. There we go. Okay, so it's a network that's been around in since 2010, and it issues annual calls for proposals. And the interesting aspect is that it actually tries to adopt, to look around Europe to see where interesting emerging research topics emerge. And it issues 2 topics per call, involves the entire community in the discussion. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So first about our current call, it recently opened and it has a deadline in April. So it will bring more than 11 million euros from a variety of European countries. Each country has the choice every year to join the call or not join, depending on whether the topic is of strategic interest for them. And the proposals are evaluated according to very similar criteria as Horizon Europe proposals, so excellence, impact and implementation. And each winner has a contract with their own national or regional funding agency. Again, I mean, going in the wrong direction. So, okay, so over the years, it started as a very small consortium, but by now we mobilize 32 different countries, funders from 28 different countries. And basically, this is the process where we foster strategic thinking around Europe in how we develop and bring up topics where it's important that European collaboration is formed. So we have several different stages. First, we have a workshop to identify a large set of topics. Then we have a conference where researchers are involved and define the topics each in more detail. And after the project starts, we also bring together these teams to form an ecosystem of actors aware of each other's results and exchanging ideas and results on a regular basis. So this year we have 2 topics that we have selected. The first one is multidimensional geographic information systems. Now you might think that geographic information systems are already quite robust and working well, but the world has changed and we have tons more data sources that can be used to make these systems more rich in data and to visualize the data that they collect, so we can collect information and data from a variety of different sensors. We can collect 3D data, and there needs to be an efficient way that this data can be stored, processed, and visualized, and this is what the research is going to be about in this call topic. And there are numerous application sectors that could use it, like climate and mobility, just to name a couple examples. The second topic is smart contracts. So digital transformation is a strategic issue for the EU. And smart contracts are enablers for this digital transformation. So here in this research topic, we basically want to enable smart contracts that can be signed and agreed to with as little human intervention as possible. They can also be modified, this can be tracked. And basically the goal is to make the ecosystems more interrelated and more able to adapt dynamically to changes. Okay, so this is about it for me. And I assume, George, you have a question.
Well, thank you, Edina. Well, I studied GIS. I don't know what multi-GIS is because I have stopped working on that.
Multidimensional.
But I understand that this GIS gathered from various sources and use various GIS tools specialized for the specific, I guess, sector that you want to study. Interesting, and I will be using it. For example, in our organization, the ministry has a new role for one of our departments to catalog and utilize the system of the Greek landscapes and who knows, maybe I'll suggest it. But also, I wanted to ask about the process. So I saw that some countries are not included in the initial consortium or the expanded consortium,
yes.
But this can increase and this can change, I guess.
Yes, depending on the topic, every year the countries have a chance to decide to join or not to join.
Okay, and they are co-financing the countries, the member states are co-financing?
Yes, this year it's all paid by member states' monies, but Aeronet Co-Fund is a scheme where they motivated member states and associated countries to participate by providing extra European funding, but this is not available every single year.
Not every year.
It's more complex when both European and national funding is involved.
So we'll have to come to you if we have questions, because whenever we are dealing with joint undertakings or Aeronet projects, things get a bit trickier. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So thank you, quite interesting, and then we're going to Michiel.
Okay. So we're a bit of an outlier, I guess. Let me give you a quick background. So in 1982, NLNet was founded. It was literally, there was no networking in Europe. These were the first people that had computers, and they invented their own modems to dial each other up. I mean, this is what it looked like, and they together built the European internet. So this is our founder, Teus Hagen. If you fast forward 15 years later, internet had become much more common. There were already some million people, several million people on the internet, I guess, by then. And so our founders considered their work done. They sold what was operational and became a public charity. If we fast forward another 15 years, that's when Edward Snowden came forth. And we know that the internet is a steaming pile of crap that is very insecure, and we really need to fix it. Fast forward another couple of years, and then that's when Tim Berners-Lee wins the biggest the Nobel Prize of Computer Science, and says, you know, we've gone from utopia to dystopia. We're really, really, really problematic. We should stop bullshitting. Because it's become a large-scale emergent phenomenon which is anti-human. If the guy that developed the web, that is such an optimist, makes that statement on such an important moment, this is something to pay attention to. So the European Commission obviously has a delay in responding, but they tendered out this study. I led that study together with Gartner, and we laid down the vision for a new program. Actually, the last time I heard about, the first time I heard it was in this very building in The Egg, because it was something called the Future Internet Program. So taking from 2018 to now, we have done a lot. We really have done an amazing amount of stuff. We have funded a shitload of projects. So for instance, I don't know if there are people that know ActivityPub, but we were the people that funded Mastodon, PeerTube, PixelFed, and we were the only ones to fund them from this program. It's a tiny program, but it's super, super, super useful. And it's actually very transformative. We funded 1,000 projects, and this is all across the space. And this goes really from open hardware GSM networks, computer chips, collaborative editors, video conferencing tools, from virtualization to things like OpenStreetMap and so on. And this is actual practical things that people can use. Our criterion is not KPIs, it is building stuff that works. If it not works, you don't get paid. So this is, I'm just going to sample a little bit because we have hundreds and hundreds of projects from our foundation. We're not the only ones running programs, we are the biggest one. We have funded 700 of the 1,000 programs, so I think we qualify to speak. So I'll just go quickly through this because, and I'll make it into a funny, I don't know where I'll stop, but then I'll talk about that one as an example. So this is a program that develops an integrated system, open source system for developing chips, Libre Silicon. So if you want to compete with, say, Intel, you need to bring a lot of components together. There are all kinds of separate tools to do that. But of course, you want to have a framework so you can hook in multiple tools because we don't have we're not a $90 billion chip company. We're a separate cohort of independent projects. So we need to create frameworks that scale and that work. Let's see if we can do another one. If you have a graphics card in your computer, it's enormously useful to save a lot of energy. If you have to draw 2D graphics, you cannot stick in a €200 graphics card, and you don't need to. So what we're building is an open hardware 2D graphics system. It's super efficient, and you can stick it into very small devices. Well, I can do this trick for. Oh, this one is very interesting. It's a brain-machine interface, so that uses FNIC to measure on the outside without doing invasive technologies to look at the way your heart pumps blood into your skull, measuring the blood flows inside the skull with light, and then measuring. You can use near infrared spectrography to do this. These are all tiny projects, right? These are all 50,000 euros or less, and they work. They cannot get paid if they don't work. So I'll stop playing the game, but please do have a look at these amazing projects. And we're always looking out for more, because that's the mechanism. We are looking for the new young people that get shit done. Who knows how much the original web proposal cost? What amount did Tim Berners-Lee ask for when he was writing the web? Does anybody know? 50,000 Swiss francs. That's the amount that we hand out as well. So your impact is not dependent on millions or billions. Your impact is depending on smart people, and that's the people that we try to reach out to. So the formula is very simple. I'm not even going to. I can give you some hints on projects, but I don't think people are very interested in knowing the names or knowing technology. We have no boundaries. It's really an open call. You can go there and you can post, and we've had that open for 70 years now. You just guide that. You can apply anonymously. You can apply as a kid. You can apply as a monastery. We don't frigging care what you put out, as long as you have a good idea with a solution that works and you make it, well, open source, because that's the thing. We don't pay competitive rates. It's a very competitive mechanism. We pay shit. It's a cost-based mechanism. We don't pay consulting rates, and yet the best people in the world come to us. Because we're looking for real-world impact, and that's what they recognize. We don't have to allow for people to make fancy slide decks or whatever. We want code that runs, and we want actual problems and actual gaps that get filled. So we don't pay for operational costs. We don't pay for marketing. We don't pay for legal fees. We don't establish new organizations. We don't pay for profit. We do pay for scientific research, for developing open source software, for validating some new technologies, but then in an applied sense, i.e. writing an open source package that does it, to make stuff better, make stuff scale, to do formal security proofs, to do security audits, to do testing, continuous integration, to document and create educational materials, to go to a standards body and develop stuff. There's lots of interesting things that we've made happen throughout the era. Understanding user requirements, making usability improvements, to make deployability so that people can actually run this in production, because there's a lot of stuff that, yeah, go and download it. It's on the website. So you all have fun trying to read the 20-page manual that is incomplete and outdated and see if you can figure it out. No. So we help people with those kinds of things. And of course, be part of the technical community, because that's where a lot of things happen. And anything else that we deem relevant. So we are extremely anti-bureaucratic. So if you're granted, you don't need to report. You just need to build the thing and it needs to work. So you send us a link to the thing that works. If not, don't bother knocking. We also are able to fund individuals. We hate consortium building with the deepest of our guts because it's such an annoying, like you have a good idea and then you're supposed to find somebody on the other side of the planet or on the other side of the continent just to work with you on something. The internet and the open source community are global communities, so you can work with whomever you frigging like. And then obviously we can donate to those people directly, so they become part of we have an agreement with them and we just pay them directly. And you can be a foundation, an individual, a company, a government, whatever. If you don't have budget and you have some good idea, you can come to us. And it's actually very lightweight. So applying takes less than an hour. If you have an idea what you're doing, you can do so. There have been people that have done it faster, but then we need to ask a little bit more questions. There's a new call every 2 months. Like I said, why would you want to care what programs? We're now in the 5th NGI 0 program. You knock on the same door, you put in the same thing. It's a bother for people to chase. Oh, now there's X amount of money there, and you need to apply for that date over there on that website, which will be gone 2 years from now. If you put yourself into the mind of the people actually developing things, if you're a 23-year-old talented PhD, are you going to go that way? We don't think so, and actually we're kind of proving that our formula works slightly better. Next deadline is April 1st, but it's the first of every even month. Please spread the word. You can find all of the projects. So this is a web page, so you can actually just visit and see all the links. We have a number of applied technologies that we can also support there. NGI Thaler is like you have Apple Pay, Google Pay, GNU Thaler, which is an open source digital payment system that can compete with the big guys. We have some extra money lined out for that. We have MobiFree, which tries to get the whole mobile ecosystem and see if we can wane people off of the dependency on especially Google. And then there's Fediversity that tries to build a hosting stack. But our big programs are called NGI 0, and that's where there's literally nothing. You tell us what the problem is. We're not so smart that we can tell what all of the problems of all the world are, but people are, so we crowdsource the problems. Now, since I didn't know who was going to be here, I was asked to also give some best practice for cascading calls. I think we are a best practice in many ways. But the first thing is take moral responsibility. Because you're dealing with money that is intended for the public good, and the bullshit factor in so many things is so high, and if you're taking the lunch from the people that are supposed to save it's like we're putting out a fire, and you're taking the water from the fire brigade to fill your bathtub. That's how bad it is if you, essentially steal the money that the public has created, that the community puts forward. We need solutions that work. We cannot afford to. So take moral responsibility. If you can't commit to moral responsibility, don't waste this opportunity for Europe, because your kids are depending on. We're losing the match. We're like now 10% of all global e-commerce goes to Europe. Like we're 1.5 times as big as the US, right? And we're now shrunk to 10%. We are losing this thing if we don't get our act together. And if there's money put forward, there is money being put forward, and it's lost. It's seeping away to mechanisms that are bad. Public money, public code. If you are making a program, everything should be open source, period. People are seeking public money, then they should bloody well give it to the public back. We wrote a study, I already told you about it. We have a shitload of best practices in there, because we got the opportunity to tell the EC what they should be doing with subgranting. So I warmly recommend chapter 4 of that document that has a big list of things where your responsibilities as a grant maker are laid out. And basically, a quick summary is, if you subgrant, you become responsible. you play a decisive role. You become responsible for the quality of what is the output. So if you don't make sure that blind people can access the software that you put out, they will never get it unless somebody else puts in money, and they won't. If you don't do a security audit and you say this is really super safe software and nobody looks at it, then it's not real. Then people cannot use it. So you have this enormous responsibility that you are actually the people that are delegated on behalf of society to deal with these important technologies. And if you don't clean up their act together and you don't put on some pressure, then we'll just seep away. So we do independent security audits. We make outcomes accessible to people with disabilities. We make sure that copyright is okay so that people can actually deploy it in production. We make reproducible packaging so that we know that people can actually start using it in production. We really believe in open calls. If people have to walk in a caravan of projects that are themselves weak, and they have to adhere to whatever weak technologies have been being put forth by those people. And I mean, I've seen some eye-burning examples over the last decade of things that were really, people were literally saying, you know, I'm so glad we got 100 million from the Commission to use our technology because nobody would otherwise. And so the more you narrow things down, the more you tell people what to do, the less relevant the solutions will be. So you want to leave room for out-of-the-box thinking and for actual solutions. Please don't fund stuff too early, too soon. Because if you do things in the wrong order, actually the adverse effect comes in. You have to think about the way things are, what intervention you're playing, and if you do too high-level interventions, saying we'll think ahead of this, not only are you blocking the field of view for the people that need it, but you're actually taking away their money. So big amounts are super scary. If you have too much money, you will just get the wrong people in. Just like grasshoppers eating all the food, and there will be greed is the wrong motivation to do this kind of thing. Be very strict. Rather give money back to the EC, saying sorry, we will not do 16 grantees from this round because we've had cases where we had 37 people, 37 projects applying and granted one. We are very strict. We don't want to work. We would rather give money back than work with people that we don't put our name under. And make sure that you have the best reviewers possible. Independent reviewers tend to be horrible because they are good at reviewing. They've never seen a project up close. They've never seen the budget that goes with it. They've never lived to have to sit through the bad work done by bad people. If they would be more strict. So we do all our reviewing in-house. I'm not expecting every organization to do that, but we do that, and we make sure that the people that review are actually also the people that do the whole life cycle of the project. So they see the actual deliverables, and they have to check them, make sure that they work, so we know what works and what doesn't work, and that gives you an immense insight into what happens. It doesn't scale as fast as just taking money and pumping it out at the regular rate, but it is the only thing that actually works. I believe in track record. You go to our webpage, everything we funded since the 90s is on there in a long list. You can check upon. You can see if it worked or not. There are many funds where there's like a .eu website where you can go to, and then 2 years from now it's gone. And there's no list of saying these are all the things that, that were a success. I've challenged people that had a 600 million euro fund, give me one of your success stories. One of them that you can actually put out on the web for people, and then that we can invite, say, the technical community to look at and see if indeed this is your poster child for your innovation. And the price tag with it, please, in case you're doing stuff above 1 million. We don't publish price tags, by the way. That's maybe not a best practice, because people will think that a 5,000 euro or a 10,000 euro project is less important than a 1 million project, and it's not. It's about the idea that counts and the cost and the relevance. So consider doing that. don't give everybody the same amount of money. That's a bad idea. They should be funded for what they need. Avoid terms that are pushing them to start businesses if it's about internet infrastructure, for instance. Avoid bureaucracy. Don't make people send in annual reports for 3 years if then you will reject 80% of the people. Because that means that you invoke a lot of work on them. That's really bad. That's really nasty because you're going to refuse somebody. So ask it when you need it, not before. And make it human because people are actually very fragile in this stage. Okay, apologies for making this into a lecture because I didn't know what the audience was, but I hope this was useful nonetheless. Thanks for all the people that give us money. I hope more people give us money.
So we are amazed, and there's not many questions that I can ask. You covered almost everything. I wanted to see the previous slide that you skipped quickly because I want to see who are you thanking and how the money came in all these years. Back in the 90s, you were also supported by FP6, maybe?
No. We're fully new. We came in Horizon 2020.
Okay.
Before that, we never got any money.
Before that, you didn't get any funding. You were just.
No. We got a small endowment of 28 million euros back in 1997. And we've just been spending it very frugally. But there's also, for instance, there's a company called Radically Open Security. It's a non-profit company. Every year they give us their profits, all of it, because they just think that's the best thing they can do for society. And similarly, Technology Commons Trust gets people. We have lots of individuals that give us money. It's just, yeah, there's not a lot of people that do what we do. So when there's budget somewhere, they can funnel to us. Please do. We're eager. People knock on our door for a long time. So that's why we have projects in 60 countries. Well, 2 years ago we were at 2.4 people. Now we're 10 people. Yay, we've grown. But we have more projects knock on our door every year. So
as national contact points, we follow the NGI concepts that the Commission puts on the topics and elsewhere. Also, some open calls that you have opened probably we have shared with our leads. But we were never aware of the amount of amazing projects that have reached the market that you showed us today. You could play the game for an hour more, and I wouldn't mind. I mean, it was very interesting. So
there's one addition to make is that we were talking about how expensive it is to people, but all our reviewers have to know all our projects. So they have to. They're not allowed to work and review projects unless they know everything that is already ongoing and recent.
And you said that most of the reviewers are in-house.
Yeah.
So okay, they get to know them as years pass by and they stay with the organization, and it's kind of easy.
So we do full-time. We have what we call them technology assessors.
Yeah.
They're not independent people at all. This is an opinionated choice. This is like curating the work from the community, and obviously there's more people that need to do that. It's not just us. We're not like a gatekeeper, but you need people that are deeply entrenched in the domain, that are actually live this thing and want all of these things to happen. They're in love with the technology, in love with the open internet, in love with open society and democracy, and they really want these projects to succeed. And well, so this is not something that you do over the weekend, say, give me a batch of projects and review. No, you have to thoroughly be a professional reviewer and have nothing else, no side interest, no hope of commercializing or whatever. No, this is reviewing on behalf of society.
We brought mentors in the past in various projects supporting mechanisms through EIT or from a pool of mentors, but in the end, 90% of them, I'm not afraid to say, they are selling their own consulting companies, which is annoying at some point. But okay, some of them offer expertise, but to a certain point. So I understand what you're saying. Well, I think we have another speaker, and then we'll have some questions from the audience, since we have till 12, Edina?
12, yeah.
Yeah, so we have some time after.
I think he can switch. You can switch without having the screen, right? Yeah.
Okay. So if we have Annetta with us to present.
Yes, just let me share my screen.
perfect. We can see it in full screen.
I think it's visible. Okay, great. Thank you very much. And thank you very much also for the nice presentations. As I said before, I am representing the TargetX second open call, and we launched this open call in December 2023, and it's open by the end of the February. And in general, this is the project co-funded from the Horizon Europe. Fraunhofer is the coordinator. We have 14 partners in the consortium. And by this project, we want to strengthen economic sectors in Europe by integrating 5G and 6G acceleration of digital transformation. So we are looking for in this project both individual entities and micro consortia. So we give here the two possibilities, and we have quite a wide range of organizations which can apply. So we are looking for SMEs, for the universities, research organizations, and company of any size. And what is important in case of for-profit companies, the maximum grant amount is 70% of the eligible costs needed to execute the project. So it means that the organization needs to set up a project budget for around 86,000 euro to be eligible. And what actually do we offer? We offer the funding support. In the second open call, we will support really a lot of entities, which means 60 for the 9-month support program. The companies can achieve TRL 7. Of course, we have some preferable TRL at the beginning, like 3-4, but of course, it depends on the whole proposal, so it doesn't affect the evaluation. And we offer also business support. The sectors which we have in mind, you can see on the right corner. This is automotive, this is construction, 5G for mobile robotics, 5G for energy monitoring, and also 5G for cloud native productions. The eligibility criteria are, I would say, quite similar in all of the Horizon Europe projects. So the entities have to be established in the member states of the European Union and overseas countries and territories or associated countries to Horizon Europe. And the project must be proposed by either individual legal entity or micro consortium. What is important, the organization needs to be registered prior to the launch of the target second open call. Registered means in the national registration, not on our website or something. What kind of support program do we have? So we give the fixed lump sum. It means that we don't require any accounting documents. We just need deliverable to be submitted in the proper timeline. So we have 3 stages, and in those 3 stages, each one is related to some amount of money. As you can see, this is 5, 35, and 20,000 euro per force entity, and we are paying after the delivery and after the approval of the mentors and selection committee. How our evaluation process looks like, this is quite transparent and fair process. We, as a funding box, which I represent, we check the eligibility criteria, then TargetX partners, they are checking in general if the proposals are in scope of TargetX. Then we have external evaluators, 2 per 1 proposal. Then, based on their ranking, the selection committee is making the list of pre-selected FSTP recipients. After that, funding box is making the formal check to check if the For example, if SME is SME, so we are collecting the documents. And then there is the FSTP agreement signature. What do we prepare for the applicants is a easy application form through our system. So what it's needed is just signing up to Funding Box portal. Then we prepare the documents for the applicants. And what is important in Target X, we have Annex 1, which is a topic description. So here we have a list of the verticals and topics. It means that to apply to the Target X second open call, we prepared 44 topics, kinds of challenges, problems, which needs to be solved by the organizations. So this is also kind of in-out scope criteria. So if the project reply to the topic, then this is the first and foremost criteria to go further. And the deadline is the 28th of February 2024 at 5. We have a simple application form, just a button, apply now, starting a new application. We prepared the possibility to add a contributor if there are a few people who would like to work online on the proposal. And we are asking for some basic information. We also prepared the information, what should be included in each section, and some legal information. What are we asking in the sections which are evaluated by evaluators? We are asking for excellence, so here we ask for innovation of the proposal, ambition and soundness of the approach. In the impact, we ask for the market opportunity, competition, commercial strategy, scalability, and environmental and social impact. In implementation, we ask for the team, risk management, project plan, and financial resources. We also ask for some other quick sections like GDPR clause and then declaration of honor. For applicants, we prepared the help desk, so it's always possible to ask us for some information, the help desk email, if somebody wants to ask them a question by email, and the general information about the Target X, not only open call, but general concept of this project. And of course, social media to follow us, what is going on in the project. Yeah, so if any questions, just let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aneta. Well, do you remember how many proposals you had for the first open call and how many were selected? Like just...
Yes, so in the first open call, so in general, in 2 open calls, we should select 100 entities. However, what I also said in my presentation, it's very important that people will reply to the topic. And it was the case in the first open call. So we received 132 proposals in the first open call, but we selected 27 projects, 36 entities, and that's why in the second open call we are looking for more, and we hope that now, after the lessons learned in the first open call, it's more visible that we are looking for projects which will reply to the topics directly.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So now I think we can have some questions from the audience. We have around 15 minutes. If someone wants to ask something, or we can have a discussion. Depends. I feel I'm too far away from you, but so any questions? Well, then we'll start by asking, not Michiel, the rest of you about what suggestions do you have for the betterment of the Cascading grant or other FSTP or other similar combined member state funding and open call projects. So Edina, maybe any ideas?
Often we are asked what opportunities are available. I have another hat as a national contact point, and well, there are so many. In this workshop already we saw sometimes the member states funds, sometimes the foundation funds, sometimes companies specialized on this activities fund, but also in the EU programs we have it coming from Horizon Europe, but we also have one of the presented projects is from the SNS-JU itself. So there are so many different sources, and I think the way we could make it better is to ensure that information is more easily available to those who are individuals or small SMEs and don't have the resources to search all over to find these opportunities.
Thank you. And you said that, you also received funding from the SNS-JU. Is what I understood. So
the SNS-JU is also running FSTP calls, so it's not just coming from Horizon Europe as well.
I understand. So, but CISTERA-NET is also combined to that, or
well, CISTERA is funded from Horizon Europe, but the funding comes from both the European Commission and national and regional funding agencies.
Similar schemes. Okay, I think that's what is the most complicated is to understand that, because we are calling our ministries sometimes, and as NCPs we're asking them, are you funding this JU or the other one? And you have to find the right person that might know to tell you what will happen in the future. If this information went also to NCPs in general and could have a list of the countries that are participating in its JU or ERANET project, would be also interesting, but we're asking for this for many years, and maybe it's up to us to combine it in the end. So thank you, and well,
one very concrete suggestion to make to the EC is they have a portal for FSTP opportunities, and you cannot deep link into that. You can go to the page, but you cannot say there's this call that I want you to look at. So, which is really annoying, because you cannot point people to certain things, and also the machine processability of that tool saying, hey, I'm not a consortium of, well, what was presented here before, I don't fall into the brackets of this or this category, so therefore I don't need to see all of those things, because I could not apply to this, because I'm not in 3 consortium, micro consortium, XYZ. There's constraints, and you need to be able to select on them more easily in that portal.
There's no filtering in that matter yet. It's now moved to the funding and portal general
which
section.
Makes it probably even worse.
It's sometimes you cannot find it. It's not searched.
I tend to call it a black box. It feels like it was not designed from a software developer, from some kind of commissioner.
It's where open call text go to die.
In general, I mean, I prefer the previous one where you clicked on Google Cascading Grant, open calls, and you found the dedicated page. But now you have to go to Funding Analysis portal. You have to, probably I suggest you click to all the opportunities and then filter by financial mechanism Cascading Grants. And then you will have all the Cascading Grants, LIFE, even, I don't know, the single market program or Horizon, and then filter again. That's an option I do. It's the easiest way. But still, you cannot filter on which call requires a consortium or not, so there's a need for more curation when you register the topic in the system. Okay, we can maybe send something to the portal managers about this, but also you can tell it to the project officers when you have a specific project.
We are quite outspoken about many things.
I'm sure. So, Ana Luisa, any comments from you on how to evolve this?
I have many comments, actually.
Okay.
I could spend here
We're looking forward to
an hour or more talking about this cascade funding and all the guidelines that we should or not follow, right? And also considering what you mentioned, and thank you for doing this best practices overview. It is indeed very hard sometimes to reach to the funds. The funds are out there, but it's quite difficult. And we could think about an easy way to outspoken these funds that we have. In F6S, we talk very often about the platform that we have we advertise very much the platform and where you can go in and you have access to all kind of programs, accelerators, all this cascade funding and so on, private and public. I find myself very confused when I'm looking for new opportunities as well, I must say, even internally. We are always trying to put ourselves in the user's shoes and try to find how can we address those issues and how can we encourage and help those that are looking for funds to easily navigate in our platform. So I think, yes, we should reach out to the Commission and we should make sure that those funds are easily accessible, because there are so many different grants out there. We need to be able to make them available to everyone, and not only for, usually, and apologies for saying this, but usually there are several times the same kind of people that I see all over again applying for funds in kind of a rotating scheme, let's say. So we like diversity, we like to fund different innovators and to see the real impact of the different projects and how the funds are indeed used in a positive, impactful way. Thank you.
Thank you, and we understand the situation. I guess we have companies that deal with, I don't know, smart haptics, and they one time apply for mining services, the other time space solutions, the next time, but still after 10 years they're not in the market. Anyway, they're surviving through this kind of funding and they're increasing the capacity. It can be seen from two different ways, like technological know-how increase or, okay, stop applying and go to the market maybe. Well, okay, we also try to make it visible at DINA. We are forwarding everything we can, and I suggest that the connection, the collaboration with the NCP networks like Idealist would be interesting, and if we are aware of all the Cascading grant topics on time, then we are sharing it through our network, and through the networks we are collaborating with, the other NCP networks maybe, or even the Enterprise Europe network. The Enterprise Europe network has 3,000 consultants and the platform with a variety of opportunities for business, technology or research collaborations. So this is interesting. I'm in the Enterprise Europe Network and we have a dedicated subgroup on the digital group that we deal with cascading grants, and we are forwarding them because it's easier for our SMEs to have a first entry on or in Horizon Europe through cascading grants rather than applying in a huge consortium. And now I will ask our colleague from the Zoom meeting to say a few things. So, Aneta, if you want to say something about the involvement of and the betterment of the cascading grant calls. I don't know. Aneta, can you hear us? Yeah, we cannot hear you.
Yes.
Okay, we can now.
I can hear you. So I would like to come back to what was already said by somebody, that TargetX is also co-funded by SNSGU. So this is together with Horizon Europe. And this is the, let's say, long-term program. TargetX is one of the first one included in that program. Yes, I don't know what else can I say. Maybe some more specific question.
Well, we were trying to brainstorm how, I mean, those that are experienced with the drafting of the open calls, what can go better or not. For example, in the past, in the early beginning of cascading grants, I've seen different things like the call document stating that the evaluation would be with a scoring from 1 to 10, and then when you're finally, the open call is out, you see evaluation criteria from 1 to 5, which is, I don't know, kind of different. You don't have an analysis coming back to you on where you failed or not. Well, we've seen some mechanisms.
So what we are doing in Funding Box is that after each of the stage, we send specific information to the applicant. So after the eligibility, we send you are eligible or not. If not, why? And then we say the quote from the guide for applicants. The same goes for scope screening. The same goes for the evaluation. So when we have the phase of the external evaluation, then we have the feedback from the two evaluators, and everything we collect and we send to the applicants. And for example, we did it for the first open call in Targetex, and we allow people who are not, people from the first open call who are not and who are beneficiaries to apply to the second open call. And what we learned from them is very important, the feedback they received, so that they've learned what can be improved, and then they are improving the proposal, and they know what can be assessed better, so they can improve it for the second open call. Moreover, what we are trying to do in application is to make application form as easy as possible. Of course, we need to ask for a lot of questions, and we know that it is time consuming. However, we try to make it as simple as possible.
Thank you, and we know that both Funding Box and F6S have a lot of experience on managing such applications. We've worked together in the past in similar projects. Well, I've seen in the beginning, that from the beginning, we've seen a lot of a great evolution to the better side of these cascading grant calls, I think. In the beginning, we have seen, I don't know, there were some nice cascading grant calls with novel ideas, that the project that managed to get more crowdfunding will get, pipeline through the finals. But then you were calling your grandmother, your uncle, and everyone else to crowdfund you. So the evaluation process is, I think, key to making it like ethical in any case. And I don't know, we have like 5 minutes. Well, Michael, I was going to you.
There's one interesting challenge that we all have coming up, and this is the rehashing through ChatGPT. So what you can do is you can find successful projects from elsewhere, write this in a proposal for project X, and it will be doing that. So there is a crash collision course that we're on to, because our work is extremely labor intensive. We really dig into.
I did it yesterday. I mean,
no, but that's actually going to be very challenging. I mean, because these things can just create infinite variations of things that are already reasonable and successful. So doing your due diligence and checking if projects that are proposing what has actually already been done, that becomes more critical and more critical. And I think that's something that we as a community will need to face, because, well, these machines can write faster than we can. They can just.
And to elaborate what I said before is, I mean, there are some tasks that those machines could be useful. Like, for example, there was a proposal internal that required to match the impact pathways of Horizon Europe on what we're doing. And instead of reading the exact points in the 25 pages, I made ChatGPT search for me where it links just the keywords. So I think that's ethical in a way. The other way, it can be confusing to take all things that have been done in the past and repurpose them and include them in the system. Well, I will ask one more technical question to Michael, if possible. Well, we have a project, Symbiosis in Greece. We're connecting startups with hospitals in order to do pilots in the hospitals. Well, it's an idea we came up, and we're working with this, and we don't have a lot of money, but we've seen what little money can do. Like in 2022, we had 17 partnerships. And in some cases, the solutions are digital health, and they are using AI, high-tech software and next-generation internet solutions, and they're going to the hospital to, I don't know, analyze medical images and fine-tune their solutions. You don't like consortia, but they're going hand in hand with the hospitals. And for example, we have a company here that says that they're trying to develop a non-invasive toolkit to predict the arterial flow via computational fluid dynamics, artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence techniques. Non-invasive, like the company you showed us last. Yeah. So if they want, they can apply to the calls, maybe if they are dealing with software and they are trying to...
So there's a number of hoops to throw. So first, we don't... people can skip the whole story about why it's being used. We just look at the technology. Are they actually adding... What algorithms are they adding? To what? Is it real? So if they're building an open hardware tool to do something, then that is the thing they should apply for. The whole story can go away. So that's why our applications are so short and sweet, is that we ask their name, can be a pseudonym, we ask their email address so we can email them, and the rest is just asking a very sort of set questions, and they can just focus on the technology. We nerd us out.
The only thing here is probably that they are for profit and they want to, maybe they can have some parts that could be open sourced, but the others could be for...
Then it's not for us.
Yeah, it's not,
then
maybe
it's not for us. Then
you,
that is really public money, public code. If you're asking for public money, then you share it with the community.
Yeah,
and if not,
then
there's essentially you're leaking away money to a private...
They should go to other calls like EIT, IC, Accelerator, and other for-profit companies maybe. Okay, we got it. I think it was amazing. Edina, what do you think? I think it should be on the auditorium, in my opinion, is next time. I think we are done, and there's no more room for questions at this point. And I want to thank all the panelists and all of you for being here. Thank you. Shall we take a picture?